Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It is Kim with the Craft Space. Today I thought what we would do is make a few last minute journaling spots or tuck spots or embellishments that we can use in our December daily, or you can use them as decorations for your envelopes for some last minute Christmas cards, and or possibly using them as little place cards for your holiday meals upcoming in the next few weeks, or week, I guess. We're getting pretty close to Christmas. And I do want to correct myself. I did say that Hanukkah had already started. I think it was yesterday or the day before. I was wrong. I believe the Hanukkah starts today. So I just wanted to correct that for anybody following along. So here are a couple that I already made, and you can see these are just some ornaments that I did just real quick. And this one is a Christmas tree, all made with music page, some stickers, some washi tape, twine, a little bit of ribbon, just some scraps that I had laying around that pretty much everyone has at home. So I thought this would be a fun little tutorial, and then we will get into my December daily, which I've been really trying to make sure that I get done every single day during all of this craziness over the holidays. So the first thing that we're going to need is a piece of either cardstock, or this is a ripped up file folder that I have. You can use some heavier scrapbook paper that you have that you don't like the pattern on, or pretty much anything, or double up a couple of pieces of paper just so it has a little bit more thickness than just your thin music sheet, because sometimes these music sheets can be a little bit flimsy, or a little bit, as you can see here, just with just the teeniest little bit of maneuvering, they tend to rip. But if you back them onto a little piece of, I'm just going to tear this a little. Why waste for these extra? I'm not a big fan of just the plain color, but you want just a little bit of an extra thickness so that these don't want to rip on you or tear on you. And this is okay to leave this side, because I'm going to take the second piece and just put right over that. And this is the simple part. I'm going to take a little bit of my Fabri-Tac and really get down on the edges like this. And again, you can use your glue stick, you can use regular school glue. I tend to use school glue. I pour it into a little dish with a little bit of water, and I use a paintbrush on it, but that is all over at my studio, and I've been trying to do my December dailies here at home instead of doing them at the studio. So I'm using what I have here. Eventually, once this portion is done, we'll move into the studio and do more of our videos and bigger tutorials and bigger crafting once the holidays are over and I get back into my regular studio hours. There we go. Just give it, and a nice thing about this glue is that it does just hold pretty quickly, and you don't have to wait a long time. It is a little bit more pricey, but if you're doing something that takes a little time, or that you want to go a little bit quicker, sometimes it's nice to use the right glue for the right project. All right, let's get this glued down, and by the time I get these glued down, we will already be ready to start tracing and cutting. And you can use anything for any shape you want. You don't have to do just Christmas trees and ornaments like I did. I grabbed a few extra cookie cutters that I thought we would try and see what we can come up with, just for some variety, but very simply. I think they're adorable when you're just using the circles for ornaments. I made a quick template out of a piece of box that was a shirt box that had seen too many Christmas mornings, and it was pretty beat up, so I just took a little piece of it and made myself a shape. And if you notice, it's not perfect. It is not straight edges. It's a little bit more, a little bit wonky, which I thought added some character to. Okay, there we go. So it added a little bit of character to the ornament itself. All right, let me get that to stick down. Perfect. Okay. Real quick, I'm going to nip this right off. Toss this. And sometimes I like to just have clear borders. You can start tracing before you start trimming your pieces, but to me, I like to see what my entire workspace is going to be. And you don't have to orient it in any certain direction. If you notice my Christmas tree, the music is going up and down. The ornaments, they're going side to side. It is whatever your preference is. You're the artist here. You're the creator. So here we go. I just grabbed a few little bits and pieces. I have a snowflake, an actual Christmas tree, a gingerbread girl, and a snowman. So I think what we'll do is, or you can simply use a mason jar lid, trace that for your, it's a Classico pasta sauce jar. You can use that to trace for your ornament. I think it'd be fun to make a little snowman. Let's just start with a couple of shapes, because I'm sure everybody is very busy and we don't have time to make a bunch of these. But I thought, let's do a few and see what we can come up with a nice little last minute craft project before the holidays. You can use them for a lot of things. Like I said, gift tags, put them on your little envelopes, jot a note on the back of them. I moved this. Jot a little note on the back and put it in with a gift card for your mail carrier or your UPS person. I will probably make a couple of these and put them in a little cello bag with some extra treats and seal them up with a little ribbon and put them in my snack basket that I leave out by my front porch for the mailman and all the carriers, and tell them to take one throughout the yard, like snacks and cookies and things like that. But I'll leave some extra holiday ones, and I'll probably tuck these inside with a little thank you note for them, because we get UPS packages and mail and FedEx come pretty much daily, and I like to make sure that they've got a little snack when they're stopping in the throughout the year. But at the holidays, I like to put a little something extra. And I never know if I'm getting the full UPS guy or if I'm just getting if I'm getting the substitute one. And so I like to put them out there for the whole season to make sure that I catch everybody as they're coming. Okay, and if you notice, this snowflake was a little bumpy and a little bit harder to trace. It's okay, because we are going to use our fancy scissors to cut these out to give me the little bumps of a snowflake, because I don't think that with this background I'm going to be able to really do it justice. So I thought we would use some of these, and it may be an epic fail. Who knows? We will see. So we have a snowman, a snowflake, and maybe let's just do this girl down here because she's a little bit, maybe here. She's a little bit bigger and chunkier, and this project might be better for a bigger, chunky cookie cutter. And I will tell you, like I have said throughout my videos, I am not the most technology driven person, and so I have a hard time editing videos. So basically my videos are unedited, and they're just, you get what you get. And I hope that if you want to, you can always fast forward a little bit through them and get to the good parts, or you can partake of the whole process. So very simply, we'll just cut these out. I'm using just a straight scissor on my gingerbread girl. And if you don't like the fussy cut, then I would say go with the jar lid or the glass. You can use a pint glass. That seems to be a really good ornament size. A glass turned upside down and trace that. That seems easy. And then make yourself a little triangle for a Christmas tree. But I thought since you already saw those, let's try something that's a little bit different. I don't know, did you guys all make cookies already? These were left out on the counter because we just finished with making some cookies this weekend. So we're gonna, sometimes these cookie cutters, I don't think they're as self-explanatory as we think they are, but I think this one will translate just fine. All right, so now we've got a gingerbread girl and a snowman. If I wasn't on camera, I would probably cut these out a little bit more carefully, but I think for this video, you'll get the meaning of what we're doing here. Now with this snowflake, I'm going to try using my little funny scissors, or my little edged scissors, and see if this makes a difference and makes it look a little bit more snowflake-esque on the edges. You can find these at pretty much any craft store, or I usually get mine at little thrift stores, little garage sales, that type of thing. Facebook Marketplace sometimes will have the whole set. You know, when people are done with their crafting and their life, they will sell a whole bin of them for pretty much next to nothing. So you can always pick these up for pretty inexpensively in a lot of places. And sometimes I will, if I buy an extra set and I've already got this pattern. This one is a scallop pattern. I sometimes use this for making large stamps or just cutting out the edges or the tops of things. It's better than just using pinking shears on everything. Okay, and you can't really tell here, but if you flip it over, I think you can really see that it's got a little bit better edge, which I think was a little bit easier than trying to really cut out around all of this edging. All right, so for the snowman, I think let's start with him. I think he might be the easiest. And let's just do a quick little Christmas tree, just because I think we've got time. These won't take very long at all. Line this up, and you can use pretty much any music note page. Or you can use scrapbook paper, or you can use plain paper, or you can paint the paper first and do some, do some watercolors, or you can cut up some of your kids' holiday projects where they're just using, where they have the excess in the back, where they use it to just catch all the paint. What am I talking about? Like scrap paper that they use when they're doing their holiday projects. And you put down that extra paper behind it to keep it off the desk. You can always use that as well. Okay, let's start let's start simply with this Christmas tree because we have already seen this one. I'm going to start with this little washi tape, little, I call it, but just some washi tape that has lights on it. And very simply, I'm going to, this doesn't show it very well, but this might be more of an elegant looking Christmas tree. And there is no rhyme or reason for this. I'm taking my washi tape and I'm sticking it down. This washi tape is a little bit stickier than my normal washi tape. If I was using just the traditional washi tape, I don't know, I might put a little bit of extra glue. But this this brand, and I don't even know where I got it, probably a thrift store, seems to be very, very sticky. And so I'm not going to do the excess of the extra gluing at this point. So very simply, I just did a diagonal pattern with that, and we'll go on the back and trim the back off like this. This one has a little extra. We'll get rid of this. And what I'm going to do is use a few of my, these are nice because you can find these almost at every drugstore, Target, craft store, office supply store, and most of the time I get these from thrift stores. And as you can see, when you buy the pack, sometimes somebody just needed all the red and blue ones, someone silver, and so you might get some half-used packets, but I usually get them for 50 cents or less, which is always nice to use them up. And I'm going to go with the traditional gold star at the top. Very simple, and just line so it's not sticking too far off. And then if you notice, there's just a tiny little bit of that sticking off. What I do is I tend to just, stick it on your fingers a little bit, stick it on a paper, and after 2 or 3 times of touching it, the stickiness should go away. If you want to use this for a journal spot and you don't want that to be sticky, see, look, this is already not sticky anymore. So don't worry about this extra part. Just like I said, just stick it a few times and it should be fine. And I think I'm going to go traditional. And I don't want to put too many on here because I think it might, I don't want to overload it. So I'm going to just zigzag these stars up like that. And this is a little short right here, so I'm not going to put a red one here. I'm going to go in now with the green ones, and I'll offset that green one there, and offset this one here. And it's okay if they touch the washi tape. Again, you're the creator. Do it however you think it would look adorable. And if you're you can get really fancy with these, or you can just get very simple like this. So now, pretty simple with that. And then what I did for the bottom is I took a piece of raffia, that paper ribbony stuff. It normally looks like, it comes like this, that you can use for the tops of tags, which we might use this part. I opened it, I just peeled it and kind of worked it, so I opened it a little bit. And then we will just snip just a tiny little piece, and you can leave it partially together, and then I fold mine in half like this, just a quick little fold in half. You don't need much glue, you don't want to saturate the whole thing so it gets hard. I just do one tiny little bead up the middle, and then just a little bit so it catches on the front and back, and then fold it in half, and you want to leave this bottom part hanging off, and that's what you put the extra little bead of glue right down the middle. And you don't want to, once you get it kind of stuck, don't fuss with it, because then it moves around, but I think it shows better on the green background. And that one is completely done, and we'll set this aside and just let it dry while we work on the next one, which I think we're going to do the snowman. And I'm going to take, like I said, we're going to use some washi tape. Let's use this Sharpie. We're going to take this Sharpie very simply. I mean, you can cut out a hat very easily. You could cut a hat out. But what I'm going to do is use my talented coloring skills and just fill his little hat in with a Sharpie marker. An older Sharpie marker is going to work better just because it's kind of rounded on the edge, but any Sharpie, any permanent marker will work. You can use any color for his hat that you would like. Get the edges. I'm gonna do this. If you don't feel comfortable with this, grab your distress ink. You can always be fancy and do that. I'm going to cover the edges just so I don't have that off-white edge showing. Okay, so there is his little hat. I just happen to have an orange marker. So we'll put a little carrot nose. I know sometimes they get button noses, but for today we're going to give him a little carrot nose. Give him a couple little coal eyeballs. So you don't have to be perfect. Now he kind of looks like a bird. Maybe give him some cool little smile here and some big coal buttons like that. And for his scarf, we could use some twine, which I think would be pretty cute. Or I thought we would use this little plaid. I happen to have some plaid washi tape that will stick down. And if you notice, I did go down into the little bit of a hump, and I'm moving everything down just a little bit on him because this is such a small cookie cutter. Then I just went down and changed his proportions just a wee bit. And now with this might get a little tricky. What I'm going to do is run it around back to thicken this up so that I can actually leave the scarf hanging off. But I want to do like a double, triple thickness on the part that's sticking off the edge right here so that I can simply add that little faux scarf looking point to it so it doesn't just look like a piece of washi tape sticking off of his neck. So, okay, so he's not perfect. I think I went a little crazy on his nose. I think he's got a little bit too big of a carrot nose. I'm going to just go in with a little pencil and give it an outline. I am not the best artist. Put a couple little lines in it so maybe it looks a little bit more like a carrot. And there is your little snowman. He would be cute with a little, you can tuck him into a journal, you can write on the back, you can just glue him down. He could become a pocket. You could go around and ink the edge of it. You could give him some little black boots if you wanted to. You can put some stick arms. I was thinking of possibly putting on a little bit of that broom that I used back on my St. Nick's Day for the switches. I thought maybe gluing a little bit of that, but then I thought we're getting way too fussy and way too fancy for a last minute craft right before Christmas. When it comes to the snowflake, I'm going to have to hit this with a little bit of an eraser because I got some extra pencil, but I can do that after I'm done on camera. So what I thought with this one, very simply, we can take a blue marker and draw, and I'm going to freehand this. We're going to draw this, and this, wow, this is supposed to be a blue marker, like a periwinkle color, and it's coming off a silvery gray, but I think that will be okay. And very simply, I'm going to take just a silver star and we're going to pop that right down here in the middle. And again, you can use any stickers, any cutesy anything you have This is in my little dish right here. We could stick this on there. Yeah, why don't we do that? I'm going to put this. This just happened to be in my little, I don't know, little stash. I had some, this is left over from that ornament making kit. I don't usually use these foam pieces, but it's sitting here, so why not? Let's just get fun. And this has, it looks like it's a sticker on the back. I'm going to punch these little holes out so maybe you can see a little bit of the music page behind it. There we go. Get these out of the way. What do you think? Do you think that's a better, oh, I think that's going to be adorable. But I still like the lines on there too, so I'm going to go ahead and it's okay that that little star is still there. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can peel this off in a timely manner. I don't know about you guys, but I struggle sometimes getting these sticker backs off, especially on those clear stickers. Oh, could spend 10 minutes trying to pull that off. Okay, I'm just going to eyeball that and put that down. Okay, what do you think? I think that's kind of fun. And you can see a little bit behind it. And if you want to, you could very simply go around the edges, depending on how fancy you want to get. I'm going to just do a couple around this edge just to see, and so then you can see the difference between the edge and not edging it. This would be a fun little project to do with the kids, or with some of your girlfriends when they come over. You can just, you know, trace them and make some of these. You can put them on your, I didn't even think about this, you could actually hang these right on your tree with a little message on them. Everybody can make a wish and hang it on the tree for Christmas morning. So you can see it with the coloring on that, and it looks like it's darker on the edge than where I drew the lines. And then here it is without, so you could do either way. And then you know what, I'm going to do it real quick. We're just going to finish this off. And then what I'm going to do, if you want to, you can, and you're going to glue it into a journal, or you're going to like use it as a tuck or something like that, or glue it on an envelope to put on a last minute holiday card, or a card that you're not going to put in the mail. You would be complete. But I thought, for the sake of this video, we will make it into a little hangy bit. So I'm just going to punch a hole. And that's another reason that you're going to want to put a backing on these so that it doesn't just rip right through. And I found this ribbon was tied around, oh no, actually this is a, you'll laugh, this is a ribbon that was cut out of a blouse that I had. You know, those little ribbons that they tie or they sew into the shoulders of a shirt or a top. This was in there, and every time I went to put this silly blouse on and pull it over my head, my hands would get all hooked up, and then it would get stuck in my hair. And I just said, forget this, and I cut them out and thought, wait a minute, I'm going to throw this in my little stash, and I can use it for something. Alrighty. And it looks like here is a little epic, or a little fail. So if you notice, I snipped all the way through and now punched a hole right where it needs to, go. But here's and I'm sure we've all done this before, so we're going to do just a quick fix on that. Take a little bit of your extra, just take a little extra of your backing, whatever you used as the backing, and I'm sure you all know this, or you've all seen this trick, but I just thought, while it happened to me right on camera, we're going to go ahead and fix it right here, just in case. Like I said, these videos, they're just real and real time, because I've tried, and computers are not my forte, and I would rather spend time crafting and creating than editing videos. So I hope it's okay that we that these are just raw videos for you guys. All right, so a little bit on the back. It's all fixed, and we're gonna just string this through pretty simply. I would probably suggest waiting until the glue is dry, just so that you're not fighting against the glue, and you're not fighting against that little tab coming off in the back while you're trying to pull the ribbon through. But for this video, we'll just punt. Okay, and then I'm going to do that. I wish I remembered what this little knot is called when you do this little pull through. I think somebody once told me it was called an eagle's nest knot, or someone else told me once that they referred to it as a Jack and Jill knot. So I'm not really quite sure of the type of knot that this is, but anyway, I love to use these for the tops of bookmarks and tags and simple things. Okay, now we are on number third one, all done. If your ribbon is a little wonky like this one is, using a little hair straightener, I've got a mini hair straightener that I use. It's at my studio, I don't have it here. Or you can just kind of run your thumbnail down it, and it should straighten up. I'm gonna just put something on top of it and hope that I'm gonna put my spaghetti sauce jar on top of it and hope it fixes it. All right, let's get to the last one, and then we will get to our December daily. So now I have this little gingerbread girl, and really simply what I thought with her would be some washi tape, a simple washi tape dress, and I have this plaid. It's not really Christmassy, but it came in my Christmas pack. And I will say it's very brittle, and it's very not sticky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, I want to do the top of her dress first. So we're going to just lay a little square down on the top so this doesn't dry. And since I'm crafting, and doing multiple uses of the glue, I'm going to set my glue on its side, not upside down, and not put the lid in it just for time's sake. So, and for her shoulder straps, I thought using this cute little twine would be cute for the shoulder straps on the dress. So I'm going to drag this through the glue just a little so that you get enough sticky on the dress part. Wow, these scissors aren't wanting to cut through twine. So I put just a little bit right there. Maybe I could make this a little bit closer. No, closer. There we go. And I'm going to put it around her neck just so that you don't have to deal with that extra frayed part. So I'm wrapping it around her neck, and then I'm going to lay it into the glue on this side. Let's see if I can do this without getting my finger in it. We'll stick it down real quick with this pencil, tap it in there. And you don't want too much hanging around because I think it might be bumpy behind the behind all the tape, the washi tape. So I will see if my scissors will do that. Okay, get back to this. And you can use your, if you have those little tweezers, little forceps, that works too, but I'm just going to use the tip of my pencil because that's what I have. Alrighty. And now I made a straight edge across here because I wanted to, we're going to make that little pinafore top. And since the glue is already there, just lay these and line them up, and they don't have to match. They don't have to If you want to, that is great, but for my purposes, okay, so we're starting off, and then we've got this. And that should kind of look like the little top of her dress. That one's a little too close, so let me move that one over. That's the other thing I like about this tape, or this glue. You do have a few seconds to reposition. There we go. So now she's got like little straps on her dress. And of course, this isn't a fashion plate. It's not going to be absolutely perfect, but I think we get the gist. Okay, now that is all down. And then what I'm going to do is I want this to just be on her skirt. So I'll go ahead and just lay down just a tiny bit of glue. Oh, I never thought, I just thought of this. Maybe a little piece of lace would have been cute along the bottom, but I don't know if I've got any on my desk here. Okay, and you can use your glue stick for this as well, for this washi tape part. But like I said, I don't, I like to do this because it's just quicker on camera. And what I'm going to do with this is just line my washi tape up. And since we need to go on the edge, this one's going to be off the edge a little bit. And then just ripping it to start with, but then always go back and give yourself, whoops, I am working completely off camera now that I zizzed this in so close. So let's see if I can not make a huge mess here. Let's start this over where you can see it. There we go. I don't know, how many of you guys that do videos have a hard time when you're actually doing a project, keeping it within the frame of the camera? I tend to forget, and then there's just nothing but a blank space. Okay. And now my fingers are covered with glue and dealing with washi tape. But, you know, I think this is something we all deal with, so why not just go with it right here? And now I'm going to take the second piece and lay it down. You want a little bit of overlap. And if you want to get, you know, if you're real perfectionist, you could line this plaid up, or you could use a washi tape that's a solid color that doesn't completely have any sort of a pattern. Alrighty, just maybe probably two more, and I'm only going up to the waist, so it makes a natural waist on this little dress. And if you notice, I'm just ripping the bottom off because I think when you're dealing with glue, it makes it a little easier. Let's see if I planned this well. Look at that, right to the very edge. All right. Now we are done with that. I'm going to go over, and you could use your bone folder and burnish this down a little bit. But I'm going to do that. There's a little extra glue there. Okay, so now we've got her little dress. Very simply, turn her around, get rid of your extra washi tape on your scissors, just turn it around and go in and trim to the bottom of the background. I'm sure that's pretty self-explanatory. Clip that right off. And I will say, in getting into junk journal crafting, it is so many videos that I watch, everything on their desk looks so perfect and clean and organized, and I'll tell you what, this junk journaling crafting is just one of the most, I want to say messy or busy, or boy, you sure get a lot out, and your workspace can get a little cluttered very, very quickly. So I try to, as I'm going along, keep things put away, but boy, that can stifle your creativity a little bit. Okay, so now we've got her little dress. Very simply, little dress. You could go in if you wanted to. We could, you know, you could go in and put some bows. Maybe we'll put a quick little, boy, tape and and glue mixed together, boy, that can make a mess. Then what I'm going to do is very simply tie a piece of this matching twine that we used for her straps on the top. I'm going to go ahead and tie this. And normally, if I was going to be doing this without being on camera, I would go and get all these little bits of glue off my fingers so that tying this would be maybe a little bit easier. But we're going to try it. And I'm going to, for the sake of time, I'm going to tie it in a knot first so that we get a nice solid base to work with. And you don't have to do it super tight because she does have some little hips and they're not going anywhere. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do the little bunny loop bow to get both strings hanging down at the bottom, but we're going to attempt that. So remember, you let that, and then we just need that piece to flip over and get down to the bottom. Give it a little tug before you make it too tight. Grab your bottom strings. And with this one, I'm not even going to tie those bottom ones into knots. I'm going to let them fray off so they get a little more rustic looking. Okay, well, that looks pretty good. And then we'll cinch these down and make them a little bit smaller. And if you can see, I accidentally caught this extra piece. It untwined a little bit. But I'm not going to worry. I will go back and fix that off camera. But all you would need to do, oh wait, I think I fixed it, is pull it through, or you can just go in and untie it and retie it. But this twine with the multicolored ties in it sometimes wants to unravel. Alrighty, so I think it looks like a decent little bow there for what we're making. And again, you can, and then we'll go ahead and I'm gonna trim these to just about to the bottom of her dress. And then I'm going to leave them so that they will start to unravel a little. I just thought that, I always think that's a cute look. Give it a little smoosh down, and so there you go. There's her little bow on her dress, and then we'll give her a little, maybe some little eyes. Like that. And I just thought of something real quick. Where is my, I just had a piece sitting right here. This from my bin over here. Just had to reach a little bit further than where I could get it from my chair. Let's see if this will work. Sometimes I think we have all these great ideas, and then you want to try something else. I think that might be might be too big. No, I think we can do it. I'm going to use a little piece of gingham. I probably, if I was going to do this and plan ahead, I would get a little bit a skinnier piece of, I'm sorry, not gingham, rickrack, and some sharper scissors to cut this. Well, that didn't work so great. My scissors are less than cooperating with me today. So what we're going to do is I'm going to try to cut this to where I have just the up part, so it looks like a little smile maybe. You know, when you're making a gingerbread man, you do those little zigzaggy bits, so maybe that will be it's a little funny looking, but that's okay. You could use a marker, you could use a pen, you could you know, whatever you want to use, but I'm going to use this piece of gingham. What do you think? Do you think it looks, you'll have to let me know if you think it looks kind of funny. But my gingerbread men, when I'm making cookies, always turn out blobby and funny anyway, so we'll give her this little gingham smile, like so. And I think she is, where's that other little piece of gingham I had sitting right here? And maybe I'll take a little bit of this raffia. I'm going to take a little tiny bit of this raffia, and just bunch it in the middle, and I don't even think it needs to be secured. I'm gonna just bunch it in the middle, put one little dab of glue. You don't need much for this stuff. Just put a little dab of it, and we'll put this on her little head like that. And while you're holding it down to dry a little, we'll just spread that out, and let's see how she did. Okay. And there we go. I'm not sure I really like that. Let's get rid of that part. We're not going to do that. You could use a little rhinestone. You could use pretty much anything for her little headpiece. Let's see if I've got anything. Ah, here we go. We will use a little piece of pipe cleaner. So I'm going to just make a tiny little bow out of this. Make a little hair bow out of this little piece of pipe cleaner that was on my desk. There we go. That's even better. And again, if we had more time and I was, you were just playing around, you could come up with all kinds of little bits and pieces. But these were just a quick little idea for the things you might have on your desk, you might have laying around. Get that to stick in there. Always try to close my glue when I'm done with that part of the project. We'll get everything out of the way. All right, so that we will then go right into our today's December daily. We'll go through that. It's a real quick layout that I did this morning. And then we will be on our way for the rest of the day. We will get all of our, there you go. We will get the rest of our fun things done for today. Some wrapping of presents, maybe some extra cookie making, whatever it is you're doing today. So these are just some ideas of things you can do while you are just some little crafts you can do while getting ready for the holidays. Alrighty, thank you so much for sitting through all of that. And now we are here for the December daily for the day. And like I said, I'm trying to do this every day, and I appreciate you coming along. I still have not found what I want to put on the front of this. Other than my collaged background, but here we are. All right, we're going to start with the first part, which I always tend to forget when I'm sharing this with everyone. This is my snippet page of all the little ideas that I came up with. I'm trying to even it out a little bit more so it all fits in. I really hope I fit it all in, but if I don't, I'll have to just put a little extra piece. And again, that's the fun part about junk journaling. So today, this is a bird stamp on a little background of a Christmas card that was sent to me that the mail, or the post office bent, and the whole card was almost destroyed, but I was able to salvage this little itty bit out of the front of it. So now I will, so I thought I'd putting that on today's little snippet, and you'll see why I used birds. I think I've fallen into the trap of becoming too matchy-matchy and not very eclectic, but you know what? It is what it is. And today, this is when I realized that I had incorrectly said that Hanukkah started yesterday, but it starts today at sundown. So, so happy Hanukkah to everyone. All right, let's get to today's layout. We're going to flip through and find it. Where are we here? So there's 13. All right, here we are. Here is day 14. And as you can see with the snippet in the beginning, it ended up being all birds, only because I pulled out a couple of things. And then as I pulled it out, it just was like, oh, birds, 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 birds. And I just thought it would be a fun one to just take all my birds that were in my little eclectic box and see if I could do a bird layout. So here we are. I'll pull these out to start with. This is the journaling spot that I journaled on, but I don't usually like to flip those over. Just in, you know, it's kind of a private thing. This is a bookmark or another journaling spot. I might come back and add to this. That was in the pocket. This was out of a vintage bird book. Somebody had just tucked this in the front cover of it. And it didn't belong to the bird book itself, but that was in the front, and he looked very Christmassy. So I thought while I was saving things, oh, look at that, more glue, I would grab him, and he just happened to go in here. This is leftover from a calendar, a little bit of scrapbook paper. This was a calendar that I cut apart and used the 14. So it is a little bit tiny, but it's the only 14 that I had since I'm out of my cereal box. I took a piece of scrapbook paper that is double-sided and added this as a little, whoops, it's off the screen, as a little page tab to give the side of the book just a little bit more, so all my pages aren't completely lined up and matching, even though some of these aren't. I like to add extra bits here and there. This is feels like a little plastic coated playing card, but it was actually it's a 2025 yearly calendar, and I put, so I thought I'll put that, tuck that in a little pocket. Some stickers from those little packets you get when they send you in the mail when you donate the $2 or $3 to whatever cause it is over the holidays, and you have all these extra little stickers and stamps and bits and pieces, so I added those. You can't really see this, but this is lined as well. I might write a little secret message to myself here so that next year when I'm pulling this all apart and looking at it, when I pull my journaling spot out to look at it, I will, I'll have a nice little message to myself here. And so I'll just fill my pockets up. And this one is one of the ones I showed you, I think, before that I got from the library. So obviously this was made from a Christmas card. And I just punched a hole in it and put a little bit of that raffia in it because I knew I was going to use it today for the ornament making. Tuck that all in. This is a paperclip bauble that I made. Simple little green bell on a gold clip. And this will clip right in here. And then today is done. So there is today's journal layout for December 14th. Looks like we've got 10 days till Christmas Eve, couple days till winter solstice. Hanukkah starts today. Looks like we're really moving along right here into the thick of things here in December and this holiday season. So thank you so much for spending a little bit of your time during this hectic holiday season to help keep me accountable for doing my December daily every day. And if you have a minute, if you can just like this video, it would help me out a lot to really build my following back up, and subscribe if you really like what's going on here. And I hope that you come back tomorrow. Grab yourself a cup of hot something and enjoy the rest of your day. Happy crafting.